Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay at Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. And on this episode, we're going to be recapping the Real Housewives of Orange County. Now, I just have to say, this is perhaps my 10th time recording this podcast today. So I'm sorry it is out a day late. I did not get a chance on Friday to record, but today, which is Saturday, I sat down to use the program I usually do, and it kept exiting me out like 100 times. So I was like, oh, I will just use StreamYard, which is what I usually use to do my video interviews, like when I have a guest on. And I recorded my whole 35-minute segment. And then I went to go listen back to it, and it was echoing the entire time. So I figured no one wants to listen to me for 35 minutes echoing. And I am now using my phone, which I usually don't do, and my little travel microphones because I took a little break, had dinner, tried to re record, still don't know what's happening on my computer. Feel like we need a new computer, but I feel like it's Riverside too. So, Riverside, if you're out there, get your shit together. And Spotify, if you're out there, I miss just recording on your program on Spotify. It was bing, bam, boom, done, easy. Riverside, much love to everyone out there that loves it and uses it, my fellow podcasters listening, but it is finicky and annoying. So let's give this a whirl for one more time. And I hope everyone's having a good Sunday while they're listening to this, doing maybe a little Sunday reset. I know I get caught up in watching those videos on Instagram. Like, just love watching people clean because I like to clean and kind of have OCD, but not the extreme of these people. I like being like organized. But these people, I'm like, does anyone else live in your house to stay organized like this? Or is this just what it looks like for the video and then it's utter chaos in your house? And P.S. for the Sunday resets, it looks like you got lots of kids when you film it. Where are all the kids and your husband or your partner for the day? Like, where did they go? Did they just leave you for the 6 hours it took you to clean and organize your house? Because that's lovely. Where'd they go? And how do you keep the house looking like that the whole week? I can get it real organized and clean, but then I need no one to live here. Like, it doesn't stay that way for long. All right, but let's get into the recap. So we got Shannon leaving Heather's room, and she's had a rough day, rough night. She's gonna get glam, and everyone loves to get a little makeup hair done when you're not feeling well. And you know what else we also like? When the glam people talk shit. So the hair girl was like, I never liked John Jansen. Neither do we, and neither did we. I never really liked him that much, but now he's just definitely on the no list forever. But Emily takes one for the team and goes to talk with Alexis Jesus Jugs. And she just says, what is your intent? To destroy Shannon? Like, what is the point of you holding these videos kind of like for hostage ransom? And then immediately Alexis gets defensive. She's like, I'm tired of her ruining Johnny's name. I can't stand that she calls him Johnny. Like, please call him John. He's not 5 years old. I don't know, and he's not Johnny Depp. I don't know why she's calling him Johnny all the time. I don't know if it's like I've said before, she's just rebranding him. So we can't even remember him being John Jansen and being Shannon's boyfriend. I don't know. It's so weird. It's like she just wants us to only know him as Johnny, Johnny J. Um, she starts crying. She says she's not going to go to dinner. And it's like, okay, good. We don't want you there anyway. Bye bye. Thank you, Emily, for talking to her. So then we didn't get Alexis at this dinner talking about Johnny J or how many times they have sex in a day, which is a lie. So then we cut to everyone getting together for dinner. So this is not the fashion show. This is the night before the fashion show. And the producers are doing Shannon dirty. They're zooming in on her ordering a drink. And she's just telling the ladies at the bar that John wouldn't sign the agreement. So she offered him the full amount, the $75,000, but he would not sign the non disparagement agreement. So, a non disparagement agreement on the internet says is a contract that prevents one or more parties from making negative statements about another party. These agreements are commonly found in employment contracts, severance agreements, and settlement agreements. So hers would be a settlement agreement. Um, I don't really understand why he wouldn't want to sign it, especially if maybe he almost countered and said, I'd like you to sign one too. I don't know what it said. Maybe she even put in there she would sign one. I don't know. But I kind of understand. So later on Watch What Happens Live, he said he didn't want to muzzle himself when Shannon got to speak all the time on the show about him, and he didn't want to like legally muzzle himself to not speak his truth, meaning him and Alexis are going on all these podcasts all of a sudden and he's trash talking Shannon, so that's what he means. So I don't really agree him going around trash talking Shannon, but I do understand if you're just even out talking to somebody and Shannon would find out, I think he would be held accountable for even just having like dinner with someone and talking about this. So that is difficult, but also it's like take the $75,000 you're like not even legally deserving of and sign it and move on. Don't talk about her. Why do you even want to talk about Shannon? And just let it be dead. Let it lie. Let it lay down and just die. But then Shannon flips out at dinner, and I just can't stand Tamara not seeing the light. We get you don't want to be friends with Shannon anymore. We get it. But she says, "Oh, you should just talk to Alexis." And Shannon's like, "I don't want to talk to her." And Tamara is just totally in denial of the stress that is going through, which I feel like is ironic because look at the meltdown she was having with her alligator skin, CO2 laser face, crying over Vicky on the internet, like multiple videos, um, always nasty in the comments section. And Vicky was, at the end of the day, it's very hurtful. But Vicky was kind of just reading what Tamara's daughter already wrote on the internet, and I I know it's a hard pill to swallow for Tamara that her daughter doesn't want to see and speak to her, but don't you think it's a hard pill for Shannon to swallow that her ex-boyfriend who is now extorting her and treating her like complete garbage, ex-girlfriend is on the show who her ex-husband sued Shannon and you, Tamara, by the way, and it's a lot for this woman. Shannon is a sensitive creature anyway, as we've seen her have highs and lows on the show anyway. So this is just pushing her over the edge, and how no one that is on this show isn't understanding of it. I'm not no one because some people are like Emily and Gina. And Heather is now that Shannon broke down in her room. I think Heather definitely saw the light. And obviously Katie does too, and Jen. Oh, okay. Basically everyone but Alexis and Tamara. So let me just rephrase all that. Heather has now come over to their side and she's like, yeah, this is terrible. But the next day, Heather just talks to Alexis about the previous night, and she says she just wants to keep everything positive at this fashion show because of what a big deal it is, and understanding. And Alexis understands too. It's an important night for her too. It's near and dear to her heart as well. And then Katie goes to tell Jen that she wants to talk to Heather again and let her know that Gina told her to confront her about the paparazzi thing. And Jen is like, um, maybe not. Like, let's not do that. And it's true. It's like, we've already kind of made peace with it. Let's just move on a little bit. I do understand why Katie would want to clear her name, though, and maybe just give more information, but also a little bit to stir the pot, too. Alexis, Gina, Emily, and Tamara then go make these delicious looking homemade biscuits. And Alexis is just like, I just want everyone to move forward. And Emily says to Tamara, why are you basically nailing Shannon to the cross? Why are you giving her such a hard time all the time? You used to be her friend and you're just not understanding. And Tamara said that she just can't stand to see Shannon ordering drinks right in front of her. And Gina says to Tamara, you need to stop being so harsh, though, with Shannon, with the drinking. And Gina's saying this from her own experiences. She said, I had my own issues. I chose to stop drinking, but not right after my DUI. But then this is where she throws a little shade to Shannon. She says, I saw what the outcome could be for me seeing Shannon. Or, well, Gina was already sober, but then she was like, I think just metaphorically speaking, like, what if that was still me 20 years from now and I'm crashing my car? And she's like, but I'm fully supportive of Shannon and we all need to be. And I'm really glad that Emily and Gina are stepping up and saying all this stuff to Tamara. They're going there with Tamara a little bit, going toes, as Lala Kent would say. And they're not afraid to like stand up for Shannon and right in front of Alexis. Like they're basically like, you need to like see that she's having a tough go. So I think you and Johnny J need to back it up a little bit. Back it up. And then we get Heather, Katie, Jen, and Shannon doing a little Zen therapy. Shannon rolls in late, looking a hot mess, and doing this like nasty, like phlegmy cough. And I'm like, you either are getting sick from all this stress, or you smoked 5 packs of cigarettes after you having a bad day the other day. It could be a combo of both. But then afterwards, Katie says to Heather that she thinks the whole paparazzi issue was a setup. And then Heather's like kind of shutting it down, like, we're not going to go there right now. We're not going to talk about this. And it's because Katie's not taking the right approach with Heather. Instead of coming up as Heather wants, someone to kiss the ring, be apologetic, Katie is coming in the opposite way that Heather wants. She's not taking any accountability, which I'm not saying she has to, but this is just what Heather wants. And this is like would get her to fully forgive Katie and move on if she basically just kisses the ring. So then everyone's arriving for the fashion show. The setup is super cute. Clothes are cute. Everyone's getting their outfits on. And then this was a real moment and a sad moment. Emily was told to bring her own jeans, and she's wearing like an oversized jacket, and they keep saying like the word oversize. But they're being like it's the people that are dressing her aren't being mean. And then Heather just said, "Oh, are you fine with this oversized jacket?" And it's like, I don't think Heather's doing it to be mean either. She just is giving her that. I saw Tamara wear it too, but Emily said it's very triggering for her. And I feel so bad because she is such a beautiful woman. And, she is just a big boned woman. She could lose 20 more pounds and she's gonna be bigger boned than some of these ladies. We're all built differently. And she lost 40 pounds and she looks great. And she's so committed to being healthy. And she works hard at it. She did say at the very beginning she did Ozempic for a little bit. She got a little liposuction in her arms, but then after that, it's all on her to maintain that and lose the weight. She lost 40 pounds in total and she's keeping it off and she looks great. I see her Instagram. She's working out all the time. So she's come so far, but yet then she's here and she's like, oh my God, you don't even have pants that fit me. I had to bring my own. And that's dramatic. I mean, Emily's not even a large person, even before she had to lose some of this weight or felt she had to lose some of this weight. It's just wild to me, the world we're living in with the sizing. I mean, I even feel like for me, I'm like, who is this fitting? I'm not even a big person. Like, who is this fitting? My 6-year-old daughter? Like, it can't fit an adult woman. Um, Sizing in every single brand is different too. It is not like a one size fits all across the board for all sizes. And I really truly think they're just making clothes smaller. So I felt really bad for her. And it's hard modeling clothes. This is why, like, runway models or fit models for clothing are not curvy at all, no bust, no butt. It's like a easy fit. And that's why the runway models are little stick figures and really don't have curves or big boobs or big butts because it's those clothes aren't meant for that. But then when we go to the store to buy them, it's like, oh, well, I don't look like that stick figurine that was just prancing around on stage. And I just felt really bad for Emily, but I'm glad she's not letting her down too much. You can tell she's visibly not like super bubbly herself when they all like walk around with the clothes, but she made the best of it and she looked beautiful. Honestly, her makeup looked Amazing. She looked amazing. The clothes looked amazing on her. And then speaking of amazing, Shannon tried on a jacket and it was like this little like faux fur jacket and everyone around her was like, "Oh, that's so good on you." And then Alexis walked by and goes, "Oh, it does." And Shannon quickly turned her head so fast like, "Bitch, don't talk to me. Talk to the hand because the face don't want to hear it from Shannon Bedore." That was amazing. It's like, yeah, Alexis, little too late for like kiss ass behavior. You should have maybe come in not so hot at the beginning of the season, and then I'd be like, okay, she's just really trying to like coexist and be normal. But she came in too hot right off the bat, like with that first episode. There's the door, Shannon, the door. Like, how long did you practice that line? A couple weeks? And then she's like, I have your ex boyfriend. It's like, okay, and I don't care. Like he's a scumbag in Shannon's eyes, and he's not easy on the eyes. I'm sorry. Alexis is 10,000 times hotter than him. I don't know what happened to the guy she was engaged to before Johnny J because he was better looking than Johnny J. And they were on below deck, so he probably has some money too. Maybe Alexis is just content with Johnny J's little boat at his little house that has the little boat right attached to it. I don't know. But then Heather and Tamara go out to talk, and Tamara is totally throwing Gina under the bus, asking Heather, why are you not more mad at her? Because I talked to Katie. So then they're showing all the flashbacks of Katie and Tamara having their chit chats. And she's like, Katie told me that she was told by Gina to bring all the paparazzi stuff up because Gina didn't want to go there with you because she has to keep you close because you have rich friends. And then Heather's like, oh, okay. Like I can tell she's like taking it all in, but she's like, okay, I'm gonna like go in and model all these clothes. Not trying to think about this. And then Heather had to do a little speech. So she's like, let's table this for a minute, do all this, and then come back and get crazy. So all the ladies model the clothes, super cute. Terry Dubrow came because obviously mm, Heather's event, she put it on. None of the other husbands were there, but obviously I figured he was going to be there. Um, Gina went up to Heather right after the show was over and she kind of dismissed her. I feel like half because she's deciding if she wants to be mad at her and taking it all in. And then the other half is she had her glasses on and she was like writing that speech on flashcards and she wanted to be in the zone. And then she gave an amazing, beautiful speech. She got teary eyed and then Terry got teary eyed. It was so cute when the camera went on them. They are amazing parents. I think that they are an amazing couple too. That's why the whole paparazzi scandal is so weird to me. I'm so on both sides. I could see her doing that because, as so many people have said, paparazzi is not just hanging out around Disneyland hoping they're going to snap pictures of people. But then on the other hand, I'm like, why would she need to do that? Because I think they have a wonderful marriage and wonderful life. And even if somebody wrote some goofy article, like, I would be like, whatever. I mean, these people have to have thick skin being out there. And that's what's hard. I probably would never have to have my comments on. Some people have even gotten tooty in my comments, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine if this was even worse. And if I was a celebrity, it'd just be like all the live long day with the mean comments. I mean, I do feel bad, even when I don't agree with someone or don't like a celebrity particularly. I am literally not going to waste my time being mean in their comment section. I just scroll past it and go, okay, you're a little weird, or I don't agree with that, but I only comment if it's positive. Obviously, in my comments, sometimes people write stuff and we have discussions about the show, but I don't like go on Alexis's like picture and say like, oh my God, I hate you and John Jansen. I hope you rot in hell, as Brittany Cartwright would say. Like, I don't do that, but I do have discussions in my comments with people. And we always need to remember we keep it nice, we keep it light, we keep it fun. But Gina goes up to Katie and she says, we should talk. And Katie said, not here. It's like everyone's saying that. And then Heather tells Katie, we can talk tomorrow. I'm sorry I dismissed you earlier. Just like we can talk tomorrow. And then Shannon, on the other hand, was asked if she would talk with Alexis, and she is going to tell her no to her face because she is about to board an airplane to meet her other amigas. So it's just dos amigas at this point because Vicky and Shannon are about to kick off their little tour they did. So that's the tour that I saw them on in Boca when I was with my friend. And she's about to have her first little show in Texas. So she has to leave, whereas the ladies are staying one more night. And Shannon comes over to say bye to everyone. And then, if we didn't think Alexis was brain dead up until now, this confirmed it. She actually tried to almost like, she was sitting down and Shannon was like hovering over. She almost tried to like hug Shannon. It's like, no, girl. Um, Shannon says to Alexis, I know you want to talk, but I'm not interested in talking. And Alexis says, I'm just trying to make it better for everyone else, Shannon. And then Shannon storms the door, storms off for the door. And I just can't stand how Tamara feels bad for Alexis and that Shannon won't talk to her. But would any of us talk to Alexis if we were Shannon? The answer is no. I mean, maybe the ladies are getting frustrated because it's like, look, we're on a TV show, so take one for the team and have a talk with Alexis because it'll give good ratings, whatever. But this is totally reminding me of when everyone wanted Ariana to talk to Tom Sandoval and that completely set up, like she said, not something that would happen in her real world reality of her talking to him at the season finale. Like Lala got all mad, and then Ariana's like, don't you think it made better TV, if that's what you're referring to, that I stormed off and I kept to my reality? Because this is a reality show. And I agree with her. Look, what would she have done? Stand there, watch Tom Sandoval ugly fake cry and apologize when she told us at the reunion? How many times did he have a chance to apologize to her? They literally were still living together. And you know what? If he thought, oh, well, she won't listen to me and she won't let me talk to her, then write her a note. And then guess what? At least we'd have evidence of the note as well. We could be like a Jersey Shore style note going on, message in a bottle, anything. He never did anything. So this kind of reminded me of that. It's like Shannon's living her truth. Like, whether the camera's there or not, she doesn't want to talk to Alexis. And good for her. I wouldn't want to either. And the consensus that I'm getting from the whole rest of the world is they wouldn't either, and they're on Shannon's side. But then the next day, all the ladies go on a bike ride. And Alexis, in her confessional, of course, has to say, oh, I haven't ridden a bike in so long, but I ride something else. It's like, all right, ew. I find the more people talk about their sex life, they actually aren't having sex with someone. Unless you're Joe Gorga, I do think him and Melissa do have like a lot of sex. And he's just saying it to be funny, and that's just like his little steak, like saying all that stuff. But Alexis is just like, all right, we get it, gross. I don't want to envision you and John Jansen doing the dirty. But then they go wine tasting, very fun, much more fun than this bike riding and us having to hear about Alexis. But then we think it's going to be a nice little scenic time. Gina flipping out on Katie. So Katie brings up the little paparazzi scandal and she's like, yeah, you made me say it. Gina instantly flips out. She's like, you're lying. You are lying. And Gina's kind of like raising her voice, getting a little frustrated. And Emily's like, Gina had like a rough morning because all the stuff she's going through with Travis. And then they kind of flash back to her having a little cry with Emily earlier that morning, just saying how, hard this all is. And what a good friend Emily is. She always is there to have Gina's back. That's why I'm glad they solved that little debacle they were having. They had conflict and they had resolution, and that's what we like to say. But she just said she doesn't want to be in the middle of this. And then Katie brings up all the real estate stuff. So Katie said that Gina wanted to use Heather's contacts because she wants to work for the Altman brothers, which is so weird because she literally already works for a real estate agency. So we saw that Heather's son works with the Altman brothers. So I've been watching Million Dollar Listing. I don't know if anyone else does listening to this, but they showed Heather buying the house that her and Terry are in, the Beverly Hills one, and her son was there working with them. And I feel like she said it on the show too, that that's like what he's doing. But I watched the actual episode of them buying the house with the Altman brothers and stuff. And Heather said that Gina already came and talked to her. She's like, I believe Gina. This is in her confessional. And she's like, she told me everything. She told me things she didn't even need to tell me. So I have no reason to like not trust Gina. And I feel like Heather's been friends with Gina longer, so you're going to tend to side with like the person you have the years and relationship with, whereas Katie is coming in new, coming in hot, kind of like going against Heather right out of the gate. But I don't think Gina's lying, but I don't know. Like, Katie doesn't strike me as a liar. She's very calm, cool, collected. In her confessional, she's like, I don't remember if it was this week or the previous week. She's like, why would I come into this group of ladies and just make an outright landish lie? And it's like, well, some people do because they want to be on the show slash stay on the show because you need drama. But I do agree with that, like her point. Why would you just come in right off the bat and just make up a total lie? Like no one's disregarding you coming in right off the bat, stirring up drama for the show, but yeah, I don't would you come in right with a lie? Because then you would never be trusted. But then Tamara, of course, has to say, Gina, you're flipping out so much, you look guilty. And Gina said, I'm just being really passionate because I know I'm right and I have a lot going on. And then Tamara has the nerve to say quietly, I don't really know if anyone paid attention to this or heard. She's like, you don't have anything going on. Shut up, Tamara. What do you mean? Like, you don't have anything going on? You're crying all over the internet about stuff Vicky's saying. But I bet next year you guys will be best friends again because also, I can't believe sometimes the things they all drag each other for filth. And then, like, months later, they're like, we're best friends again. Trace Amigas. It's like, no. I really do now think, like, Trace Amigas are no more ever. And it's just Dos Amigas forever, right? Flying high, like Shannon and Vicky all the way. And no Tamara for either of them. And I think Tamara's going to be like the matron of honor in Jesus' Jugs and Johnny J's wedding reception, honestly. I really do. But this episode was pretty good. I did read this week that Alexis apparently signed her contract for next year. I don't know how true that is, so I'm not going to say that's 100% true. I'm going to say allegedly. But my thought also that I came to today is I think Alexis is trying to push Shannon over the edge so that Shannon quits so that she could have Shannon's spot. I'm not saying that's going to happen, and I'm certainly not saying that's what I want to happen, but I think that's in her brain maybe what she wants to do. Because if not, why are you always being so annoying to her? Like, so what? She's trash talking John Jansen. Like, she used to date him before you, and maybe you haven't seen the dark side of John Jansen. Like, I believe, which I said in my last podcast, people can be different with different people. So it's like maybe Shannon and John didn't work together, but maybe Alexis and John will work together and be blissfully married forever. The only thing I disagree that John is doing that makes him terrible is this blackmailing with the video with Shannon. I'm not faulting him for dating Alexis. It's a free world. He could do whatever he wants. And like Alexis and Shannon were never friends. Yes, is it weird that Jim Bellino sued Shannon and Tamara and he was dating Shannon at the time when all that happened? Yeah, a little weird. But whatever. It's not like he's dating Jim Bellino. He's dating Alexis. So I just think the only thing that's terrible is the like extortion of the video, the ring video. So then this brings us to right after the show, we get an appearance from Jesus Jugs on Watch What Happens Live. And then, of course, we get John Jansen watching in the audience with like a weird Stevie Nicks, Steven Tyler scarf around his neck, leather jacket. And they didn't show us his shoes, but I bet it was those Ferragamo slip ons that Shannon said he's sporting all around town that she bought. And Alexis looked awful. The makeup looked awful. My 6-year old does better makeup than that. I think the makeup artist likes Shannon and doesn't like Alexis because Alexis should have just done her own glam. It looked horrific. She looked like one of those nutcracker dolls around Christmas time, like just a dot of red blush, like a clown. It was awful. But then Katie, on the other hand, was the other guest. She looked hot, very hot. I sent her a little like hearts on her outfit. And then I made a little post and said at least somebody looked good last night. And she sent me a bunch of hearts in the DMs. So then I slipped back into her DMs and I said, would love for you to come on the podcast. And she said, I would love to. Unfortunately, Bravo's very strict with all the podcasts we do. But then I said, we could talk about other things. We don't have to talk about the show. We talk about fashion. We talk about being a mom. So, Katie, if you're out there listening, or I'm going to suggest to her maybe when the season's over, because I get it. I know it's hard when their season is going on, them coming on podcasts, because I think Bravo hates that all these women do podcasts in general or host podcasts because it's giving a lot of the magic away of the show. It's like removing the iron curtain in the Wizard of Oz. Tamra for Two Teas in a Pod, whenever Teddy recaps Orange County, she has to have somebody else come on. She can't even have Tamra do it with her because she's on the show. And we don't want any spoiler alerts and all that stuff because we already know how that happened in Jersey. So it's definitely hard for these girls to do any of the podcasts, but I will say that Watch What Happens Live episode was real brutal seeing Alexis's blush. And then of course Andy asked all the questions. Um he said to Alexis, do you think it was like rough this season for Shannon? And everyone was just coming at her hard and all of that stuff. And she's like, yeah, I do feel bad for her. But you know what? I also feel bad for John's daughter that she almost ran over. And we've never gotten an apology for that. Okay. And then Andy's like, okay. I'm just so confused why his grown ass adult daughter was out there like when supposedly John and Shannon were drunk by themselves at his house, yelling at each other, arguing. What was going through his daughter's brain to be like, oh, you guys are drunk arguing? Let me go outside and get in front of her car so she can run me over. I don't get it. I think it was very late too. So it's not like you could say, like, oh, maybe she was coming home from dinner or something and she crossed paths with Shannon. No, 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 no. And she's, like I said, a full grown adult. So I don't think she lives with John. So all of this is so confusing and it's kind of weird that we never heard about this until like the show because after she had the DUI and stuff like John was maybe not by her side that night but he was by her side for a little bit and then like she said 10 days after kind of threw her away like garbage but of course then Andy asked Alexis are you going to take John Jansen's last name when you get married. She's like, absolutely, AJ all the way, AJ, like her new initials. Like, oh my God. She is going to have the most annoying, obnoxious wedding. I'm telling you, Bravo, right now, do not even air one damn minute of it. Jesus Chugs and Johnny J, don't even think you're going to have a whole wedding special. This is not a spinoff for like, don't be tardy for the party. We don't want to see it. We don't at all. I will keep an eye out for those facts about her signing the contract for next year because also like do friends of even sign contracts? I'm so confused. And then that was another thing she said for Watch What Happens Live. She's like, you know, John didn't even want me to do the show. He offered to pay my salary and then he even offered to double my salary. And he was like, oh wow. It's like, Andy, I hope that was a sarcastic oh wow, because it's like, Alexis, what do you get as a friend of? Like $10,000? Like whoop de doo. Maybe he was going, oh, he's going to double it and give you 20,000. Well, you're extorting Shannon for 75,000. You probably weren't even going to get paid that. Kim D has said before she didn't get paid to be a friend of. So I'm confused. Like maybe some do, some don't. And Kim D was a friend of a long, long time ago. So maybe things have changed. But I highly doubt any money Alexis got is like wild. Like she acts like, oh yeah, I was gonna get, $500,000 and John told me I'll give you that or double for you to not do the show. It's like, no, girl, no. I bet whatever you got didn't even cover your glam and wardrobe for the whole season because that's what Teresa Giudice said at the beginning too, and she was full time. She said at the very beginning they got paid nothing and she actually spent money to be on the show. I mean, it's expensive to be on the Housewives. They need to, get their weaves touched up. Like Jen wasn't letting that weave go just because she can't pay her car payment and her mortgage. She was like, can't. I need to be looking fresh with this weave and these nails. Emily, I gotta look good. But we will stay up to date on all the crazies, all the news always. On Tuesday, I'll do my Just Bravo tea and gossip session. We'll talk a little bit more about Jackson, Brittany, and all that craziness that's happening. And Vanderpump Rules is going to pick up cameras again soon. So we will leave out on this note that we don't wish Alexis, Jesus Jugs, Bellino, soon to be Jansen, or Johnny J well at all. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.